So the disciple presented his doubts regarding the existence of the soul to the Sadguru in the previous four verses, verse 45, 46, 47, three arguments, and conclusion of that argument in verse 48. So from verse 45 to 48 is a presentation of the doubts regarding the first fundamental truth being the existence of the soul. And knowing the disciple to be worthy of knowledge, the Guru answers his doubts in 10 verses, 49 to 58. As a result of this, his doubts are resolved and he develops faith in the first fundamental truth, the soul exists. So this is very important, knowing the disciple to be worthy of knowledge. So we know all about worthiness from verse 38. What if you are not worthy? Verse 39. What if you are worthy? Verse 43 verses on worthiness. Just in 2 words, samajavo sad upay. How unimportant was this verse before, and how important it has become since yesterday. Because we focused on the words mate che nahi atma, means this is just concluding his arguments. Mate che nahi atma. But the most important words were samjhavo sadupay, because in that we see the worthiness of the disciple. Worthiness of the Guru, the attributes of the Guru which we had seen in verse 10, we'll be seeing when the Sadguru replies. His Atmagnan will be seeing, his Samadarshita will be seeing, his Vichare Uday Prayog will be seeing in verse 118. Once the script is over, he goes in that trance again. So we'll see that attribute also. Apurva Vani we'll see, Param Shrutapanu we'll see. Attributes of the Sadguru which we learnt in verse 10 we'll be seeing in action. Right now I'm talking the attributes we saw in say 37, 38. Kam ek atmarthanu bijo nahi mandro and kashayani upshantata, etc. That was the verse for worthiness. So that worthiness we see in the disciple, not when he's thanking his Guru, when he's presenting his doubts yet. See, we know the Atma Siddhi, so we know that all his doubts will be resolved. He will actually experience enlightenment, or say he will revise everything in short. In 5 verses, he'll revise the whole Atma Siddhi in 5 verses. 119 to 123. Yeah. And then in 124, he'll say, oh, Sri Sadguru, thanksgiving. So, the worthiness we don't see then, we are seeing when he's presenting his doubts. So what are the attributes of an ideal disciple or a pupil or a student searching for truth? So what do we see in this disciple? Ekdam short and then we move on to the solutions. One thing we see, he wants to actually attain self-realization. I'm not saying soul here right now, because for soul he has doubts. But self, obviously everyone does believe in the existence of himself. So self, What is the self? The body, the mind, the senses, the breath, the soul. He is not clear about it. But he wants to attain self-realization, the realization of the real I, whatever it is, whether it is soul or senses. He'll decide that after the Guru replies. But whatever the answer is, he wants to attain self-realization. And he has respect for an enlightened master, faith, respect and faith. He has experienced and he'll be able to resolve my doubts. Faith in both. His dasha and his upkar, both. So number one was he wants to attain a deeper, a richer experience. Whatever it is, whether you call Atmagnan, Atma Sakshatkar, Brahma Sakshatkar, Bhagwan Sakshatkar, or just a clear understanding of the senses, whatever it is, he is not clear about it. And so the doubts. So he wants to attain self-realization. Number one is clearly seen here. Number two, he has deep faith, respect for his Sadguru, because the words used are Sadguru Uvacha now. So Sadguru is answering now. So Sadguru. Third, he is a real seeker, and this we come to know from the questions he asks. He did not ask, whom should I make my soulmate? Did you see any question like that in 45, in 46, in 47, in 48? Anything regarding his profession or job? Anything regarding fame, wealth, family? What type of questions did he ask? Regarding I. Regarding the I. So his questions are so spiritual, so philosophical, so metaphysical. See, from the type of questions, we understand the matter within. He could have said, I love you, my Sadguru, and so I want to know what is my future, what should I be doing. But we don't see, Kam ek atmarthinu, I have come to you only for Atma Kalyan. So we see a high level of worthiness. From the type of question asked, and is going to be asked. Means the last set will be, how do I attain self-realization or liberation? Moksha upaya, path of liberation. So he's not only talking, he wants to understand the path because he wants to pursue it. So the worthiness from the questions asked, from the Vinay done, from the type of questions, we can gauge his inner levels. Whether he's asking regarding meditation, whether he's asking regarding some scriptures, some doubts regarding the scriptures. So we know he's on the study level, he's on the meditative level, he's just on the sansaric level. What are the discussions and questions and answers shared between the Guru and the Shishya? We exactly know their relationship also. કે એકદમ ઉપરની વાત કરો, કેમ છો, ક્યારે આવ્યા, કઈ ફ્લાઇટમાં આવ્યા, ક્યારે જવાના છો. So we know એકદમ superficial relationship. From one question you realize they have been meeting every day within. From one question. So we can gauge that this type of questions are regarding this existence, the eternity, the doership, which is the word we are going to use for Bhokta today, the sufferer. We'll use one word and then finally decide during the fourth pad what we want to keep it constant. Okay. So endurer, receiver, sufferer. So today we use the word sufferer, and whether he believes in liberation, whether he knows the path of liberation, so he can focus his efforts in the right way, in the right direction. So from the types of questions asked, we can gauge, he's measured, that he really is a real seeker. He has left all this. So yesterday I was talking to someone. So again, the same Sanatan question. I call some questions Sanatan question, which I have to answer in every part of the globe. And I do have a plan, I want to take a whole Paryushan on that once, but I don't know when. It seems બધા પર્યુષણ કવર અહીંયા જ કરવાના આવે એવું લાગે છે present situation માં, because the NSAI is being used as a vaccination center and quarantine center તો છે જ હજી, પણ for vaccination, and if it continues, if you don't get that, and if we are not allowed in Yogi Sabhagrah, 4,000, 5,000 people, we are not allowed, then we'll be doing here. But not like last year, because it will be open for everyone. You will have at least 10 guests in your room. Because મુમુક્ષુ આસ કે તમારી ત્યાં હું રહી શકું, તો આપણે કેવી રીતે ના પાડી શકે? આપણે પણ મુમુક્ષુ રહેવું છે ને. Though we want, whatever. અને પાછું મોન્સૂન્સ હોય તો હાવ કાંઈ ટેન્સ કેવી રીતે બાંધીએ આ તે, એટલે આપણે હાથ પાડવી પડે કે તમે રૂમમાં રહેજો, હું બહાર રહીશ. Because we have to be in that prani daya also, no? Compassion, love, and so how much ever we don't want that person to be, we don't want to be with that person, but that prani daya says you should. So two types of people use the word prani daya as prani daya. One's living in the remote villages of India. Pony up. Pony, pani nahi, pony up. Places near Palitana, at least I have seen. I have traveled a lot in the small villages in Palitana. So, pony che, and people from Chicago say pony there. So whatever. So the Sanatan question asked everywhere, and always it's been asked in the car pagla. Car pagla they say over there, because house pagla is very, very difficult. So car pagla, house pagla, if I do, it's only 15 minutes. Car pagla, if I do, it's 45 minutes or an hour, because the distances are so they ask in car pagla, એ બી ઘર આ નાકા પર હોય ત્યારે પૂછે. હા, લાસ્ટ સ્ટ્રીટમાં જ્યારે આમ ટર્ન લેતા હોય ત્યારે કે ક્વિક ક્વેશ્ચન. મેં કીધું પણ માય આન્સર વોન્ટ બી ક્વિક, ઇટ ડિપેન્ડ્સ ઓન વોટ ક્વેશ્ચન યુ આસ્ક. પણ I have to be quick, તો હું તો શોર્ટમાં પતાવી દઉં પછી. So the question is everything fixed? Destined? Ke we have freedom of will. So this I had submitted a lot of papers on this in my philosophy days, 2 years. In fact, first paper I submitted was on freedom of will and destiny. Destiny means if everything is fixed, then we are just puppets in the hands of destiny. So we should not be so happy also and so sad also, because we are not responsible for both. Even if I murder someone, it's okay because it was destined. And even if I achieve something, that is also not my hushari, it was and as Premarpit say, they can't say destined, so they say as decided. So it means the same thing finally. So as it was decided. By whom, I don't know, but it was decided by someone. So is everything fixed and you have to just execute it, or there is a freedom of will? Because as soon as the freedom of will comes, then you start becoming responsible for every act and thought of yours. So now what is true? So I can't just answer it in 2 minutes. But in a chup karwa mate, I have some answers. So usually I give 3 answers. Tane kahi do? So number 1, I say, it's a combination of both. If you're playing a game of chess, how these characters have to move is fixed. ઘોડો આમ ઊંટ આમ હાથી આમ જે બી તમારા નામ હોય તે when and how much you are free, when to move which character and how much to move, you are free, and it's there where you win the game. So I say it's a combination of both. And of course I'm not talking philosophically, હમણાં તો દ્રષ્ટાંતથી સમજી લો. And then I'll expound on it after I finish my Atmasiddhi Shastra. Then I say, destiny is like your height, and freedom of will is like your weight. Height you cannot change. Weight depends on you. Right? I think this is quite a good thing to, એટલી વારમાં ઘર આવી જાય એટલે then I have to get down. Then I say, if it's going to rain, it will rain. It is fixed. Whether you want to get wet or not want to get wet is your choice. Umbrella low, don't get wet. Don't take an umbrella, you'll get wet. Indian rains માં તો umbrella લો તો બી કાગડો થઈ જાય. So it is only wet. And third, and the most important, whether you get wet or not wet, whether you want to be happy and smiling is totally your choice. But rain will fall. So I won't say this is a very philosophical answer. Ekdam according to the Jain philosophy and all, Kevali Nugnan and Krambat Parya and all. But this is enough to shut you at least for some time. And you can resolve that I have to be smiling. And it's totally up to me. That is not destiny. I have to keep my spirits high, at least if you come to this conclusion. And then the music and trumpets and all start, because everywhere I go for Pratishtha. So yesterday I was remembering the Pratishtha a lot. New Jersey na roads આવે અને રસ્તાના નાકાથી બધા વરઘોડાઓ સ્ટાર્ટ થઈ જાય, તોફાન સ્ટાર્ટ થઈ જાય. So it was beautiful. Okay, so we were talking of the ideal Shishya, which we see in this Shishya of Atmasiddhi Shastra. So one, I said, he really wants to attain self-realization. And second, he has good amount of respect and faith for his Sadguru. Third, he is a truth seeker, real seeker. This we come to know from the types of questions he is asking. No worldly questions at all. Nothing. Not even saying my tabiyat am kem che ne maru pelu kem che. Nothing. It's totally regarding the 6 fundamentals. Okay, and he wants to reach the right conclusion. He wants to reach the right conclusion means he wants his thinking and experience to be aligned with his Guru. Right now it is not. Because for him senses are very important. Whatever cannot be perceived by senses does not exist. This is his logic, this is his reasoning, and this is his observation, and this is his conclusion. But he wants it to be aligned. See, this alignment is so important. I was just thinking today while having breakfast. I go for 1 week, I go for paglas or whatever and breakfast. So the whole day is mine. I can't spend a lot of time in the afternoons and evenings, very packed schedule. But in the mornings I go for breakfast. So during the yagnas I don't go anywhere. I have to be in a little food sanyam also, and you don't let me be in food sanyam, so I don't go during the yagnas. So I said, 3 things you should make. My Gnan Mati, it came into words from my understanding and my Gnan, it came in words that 3 ચીજથી વધારે you can't make. 3 ચીજ એટલે 3 ચીજ. 3 ચીજ એટલે 3 dish, 3 cuisines નહીં. Right? So once I'm going somewhere and they make chole bhature and another 2 dishes, કે chole bhature તો એક કહેવાય ને. Prem, I can understand. You want to feed everything. And I can understand. I have the same feeling. But your Gnan is not aligned with me. So where Nemiji sees love, I don't see love. Because this person is not so worthy. Because his Gnan is very different from me. 3 things. So em to apne em ke Gujarati food. And you can make 1000 items and say ke khali Gujarati food ek જ item બનાવી છે. 3 things means you should know what I mean by 3 things. 3 things maximum on the table. So you want to make chole bhature, that's fine, it's your choice. So chole bhature and tea. But you can't say chole bhature, pani puri, and what, doklas, and khakras, and gathiyas. તો કે આ બધી કઈ ચીજ થોડી કહેવાય. લે એક જણાએ ચટણી પીરસી, નહીં નહીં 3 થઈ ગયા. તો કે ચટણી થોડી કઈ ચીજ કહેવાય. Then your Gnan is not aligned with me. I understand your love. And આવું જાગવું જોઈએ અને જાગે is very, very natural. But if you want to convince me કે આ ચીજ ન કહેવાય, તો your Gnan and my Gnan is in opposite direction. You have to say કે બાપા એક ચટણી extra હવે લઈ લો હવે. You can. You can force me like that. You can. ચોથી આઈટમ જ ગણાયા, હવે બહુ પ્રેમથી બનાવી છે લો. તો it is okay. At least our Gnan is same, no? કે આ ચોથી આઈટમ છે. But because of your emotions, you are actually not aligned to me. So when I come out of the house, મેં કીધું cancel. આટલી મહેનત કરી 4 વાગ્યામાં ઉઠીને, but not aligned to me. And I went to Lunabat's house and they actually made only 3. And I said, I really enjoyed today. Hatuksu pawa. What did you make? Pawa. And what else did you make? Some Marwadi thing, one thing. And tea, I think. Ekdam aligned to what I wanted. Then he can show his love also. Okay, biji ek bhi cheez bapa banavi, but I won't give you now. I'll pack it and you have it whenever you want. Or give it to anyone, whomsoever. Because I want to offer. So I think Gnan and love both align to me. But if you say કે ચટણી કેવી રીતે ગણાય, તો ચટણી એ દ્રવ્ય છે. That's what my guru taught me. એક દ્રવ્ય છે. It's not illusion, right? Chutney is illusion. It's imaginary. Okay, it's a dravya. So when I say 3 dravya, chutney comes in that dravya. Okay, ketchup or whatever. What I'm saying, this is not a big thing. I'm saying alignment is so important and I check that. કે આજે ફૂડમાં અમારું અલાઇન નથી થતું, કાલે સાધનામાં અમારું અલાઇન નહીં થાય, પરમ દિવસે સિદ્ધાંતમાં આપણું અલાઇન નહીં થાય, and finally સાથે રહેવા છતાં we'll remain separate only. So why your love wants to come when the alignment is there? You can directly say ને કે મને 4 ચીજ આપી જ છે, તમારે કાલે 2 ચીજ ખાજો પણ આજે 1 ચીજ એક્સ્ટ્રા ખાઈ લો. You have all the adhikar to and Premarpits to have all the adhikar to do all that. For them, I'm that Chota Krishna. No, I'm not that Yogeshwar Krishna. Okay, you have to get scared of. They are never scared of me. They have packed food for me when I used to go for school picnics, school trips. So they used to pack things for me. So why have they to get? They don't need to get scared of me at all, right? Here, Shishya, I'm seeing he has a strong desire for his thinking to get aligned with the Sadguru, which he feels is not aligned right now. So that also I see. Nato, why should he say samjhavo? I'm right, and that's it. I don't even want to talk about it. Egoistic people will say, I don't want to even talk about this. This is what I felt, and that is it. But you are nothing, you are an idiot. That realization one should have. With your thinking, you have not attained Atmagnan. Means your thinking is wrong. So you need to get aligned with the Guru's thinking. How much ever you think your thinking is right, but your thinking has not yet given you Atmagnan. So that means it is not suvicharana, it's not right thinking. Because right thinking, Gnan, Monash, Nirvan, that was the Kram. So your thinking is not doing anything for you. So that itself proves it only creates anger, it only creates prejudices, it only creates ego, etc., etc. So how is your thinking right? So at least you should have that bond, that realization that I need to align to his thinking. So she wrote very beautifully that I love you, I believe in you. And you believe in the soul. So I'm believing in the soul. હવે આજથી મારું ખરું પ્રોસેસ સ્ટાર્ટ થશે when the guru answers, and even I'll try to find a logical dimension to the whole thing before I experience the soul, if any. But I don't have any doubt that the soul exists because I know you and you know that. But now I'm getting a chance to understand and change my thinking only also. Not the whole acceptance is not only on faith but on your independent thinking also, but right thinking. Independent, I'm fine. But it should be in the right direction. So he has sent beautiful questions, and I said, let me finish the verses first. If it's answered, fine. If it's not answered, I'll take it. He has asked about the cells. I've been pondering on the two questions you have put. One is if every cell is a living cell, if every cell, the nucleus and everything, so if that is the Atma and that is the body, how can I say this is my body? When there are millions of cells and all. So what is the relationship between the Atma of the cell and Atma of this body? So I said, wonderful question. This is not going to be answered in this segment, but we can always discuss. And then he has talked about the sperms flying and, so ova સાથે મિક્સ થાય અને એ થાય એની પહેલા what is it living, it is non-living. So he wanted a clarity on that, and that I will touch that matter in the second Shanka. I might, at least I'll answer you. So no date I can tell you because so he is presenting his doubts, he is not arguing. That is one attribute I liked very much. He does not have an ego of his thinking, so he doesn't need to argue. The whole game is for, the purpose is knowledge, and the purpose is not killing someone's ego, the master's ego or my ego or nothing. The purpose is right knowledge. So he's presenting his doubts, and the doubts are also so wonderfully presented, but he's not arguing. That we'll come to know later after the first pad is over. And he has no intention of testing his guru. Did you find that intention? સમજાવો તમને સમજાયું છે તો સમજાવો. No, what mudra did I use? Please મને સમજાવો. Oh, teacher, pleading, requesting. So it's not to test his knowledge, but to gain knowledge from him. So that is also a great attribute I see. Because of the words worthy, I'm just revising what I've already told. Then see the amount of respect, humility, politeness in his pleading. Right? And the most important, he as an open mind. I'm concluding my arguments, but please mane samjhavo where I'm going wrong in my observation and so in the conclusion. He also has that doubt on his doubts. Somewhere my thinking is in a wrong direction, but I don't know what is wrong in my thinking. So Kripadev says, if you don't understand, if you are an idiot, if not a bigot, ask him, no? Ask the Sadguru. And one should ask. One should introspect only and get an answer from himself. But if you are just stuck and not getting, so he has actually been in the disciple's role, and he has shown if you just can't understand, then you can't get stuck, you should ask. Because even the Shishya can't find the flaws in his thinking, so he's asking, samjhao. But he cannot remain stuck. That is the sign of bhare karmi atma, means not going to get liberated for a long, long, long time. So ketlu nishkapatpanu, ketlu sarv, I can go on and on. So now the answers of the Guruji, of the Sadguru, will be how many verses? 10, from 49 to 58. And from verse 59, again the Shishya will be speaking. First he will speak about what he felt about the answers. Is he satisfied or not? And then in verse 60, he will start with the second fundament. That's why I'm saying it's a dialogue. It's not a drama. Now first pad is over, now just start second. No, he should be satisfied and he should express his satisfaction. Or he should say, okay, Guruji, I'm not yet convinced, but I will chhodi do amna time nathi to chhodi do, but I'm not convinced. Or say I'm convinced. But don't have something different in your heart and your tongue speaks sweet words that way. So I'm saying, so say 59. Sambhav teno thai che antar kare. It makes sense. Your answers make sense. And intellectually I am convinced, yet not experienced. But intellectually I am convinced. So beautifully he shows what he feels regarding the answers. Okay? So, before sequentially, so one by one sequence, answering the various arguments of the disciple. So what was the first argument? Cannot be perceived by eyes, eyes and other senses. So you should start answering the first one. Let's see. Before sequentially answering the various arguments of the disciple, the Guru draws his attention to the root cause of the doubt. He wants to say, why are you getting such doubts regarding the existence of soul? So I'm going to explain the root cause in 2 verses. And I'm going to exactly answer not the question I like the most, but in that same sequence I'll be answering. That is also a wonderful way of satisfying a Shishya. This was your first question, this is the answer to this. This was your second question, and this is the answer to it. This is the third argument, and this is it. So now you understand 10 verses. So 2 verses goes in for the root cause. Then 2 for all 3 arguments. 2 verses. 2. And 2 is the conclusion. 10 verses. Introduction, conclusion, 2. Very clear? The Guru strikes on the basic flow of all his doubts regarding the existence of soul. He says,
Bhasyo dehadhyas thi atma deha sama Parnate banne bhinn che pragat lakshane bhaan.
Bhasyo. Bhasu means appears. Over here, it means illusory, but forget the bracket. it appears, bhasyo, appears, deha dhyasati, because of the false identification. I'll explain. Deha dhyasati, jara bolo ekવાર એટલે ફાવે છે કે નહીં. દેહા એમ નહીં, દેહા ધ્યાસતી. You can break it into deha and adhyasa. Deha, adhyasa. So adhyas in very simple word, if I want to say, habit. Wrong habit, adhyas. So deha adhyas, because of the association with the body, you start believing I am the body. This is called deha adhyas. Very clear? So habit of identifying yourself with the body. Whenever you use the word I, the body pops out in your mind, or your name, or your body, or your face, or whatever. Okay? So bhasyo, it appears because of dehadhyas. What happens? Because of this wrong habit of false identification, what appears? Atma deha saman. Because of that, soul and body appears to be same. Same in the sense, they are just two different words for one substance only. Either you call it body, or you call it living body, you call soul. But there is no two separate substances, deha and atma. You understand clearly now? Bhasyo, because of the wrong habit of identification since time immemorial, what appears? Body and soul appears to be same or only one. Same માટે પણ બે જોઈએ કે આ બે એકદમ સેમ લાગે છે. આમ તો સિમિલર બોલાય, પણ we are Gujaratis, so we can use anything, and it's the responsibility of the other person to understand us. We might say it was a terrible satsang, terrible satsang, but you should understand it was terrific satsang. So this is the beauty. Okay, so bhasyo deha dhyasti atma deha saman. Pan, but what is it in reality? Pan, te banne, એટલે કે દેહ અને આત્મા, the body and the soul, they are ભિન્ન છે, separate entities. Separate entities. Pragata lakshane bhan. Pragat, it is very obvious, very, very evident, and that the Guru will show. Very, very obvious. What you're talking, you don't even need eyes to see the soul. You are saying eyes cannot see the soul, and the Guruji will say you don't even need eyes to accept the existence of the soul. It is too evident. Pragat means very, very obvious, very, very evident. Lakshanebhan. Why? Because of its characteristics. Because of the attributes of the body and soul are so distinct and different. So you will ખારું લાગે તો એ salt છે, મીઠું લાગે તો it is sugar. Now I have told you the attributes, no? So now will you be able to differentiate? Any time I give you some white powder, not drugs or anything, but white powder, and you will be able to tell, yeah, because now you know the attributes of both. So now that discriminative knowledge will be present, and you will be able to grasp that this is 100% salt. You won't remain confused at all. So that's what the Guruji is saying. It's so evident, so obvious. Pragata, lakshane, its characteristics, or you can say signs or traits, and bhan. It can be known very, very clearly, evidently, distinct. So the short meaning, the soul and the body appears as the same due to the false identification of the soul with the body. But both of them are separate entities and can be identified separately. How and why? Because from their evident characteristics. So obviously distinct and all, you don't even need evident characteristics. Say everything. Okay, so what is the biggest crisis of humanity? Not money. Not money. Though everyone is cribbing for money, but that is not the biggest crisis according to the enlightened masters. Identification crisis. Identity crisis. The enlightened ones see humanity in deep identity crisis. They don't know who they are. And because of this crisis, lots of false imaginations and lot of mistakes in his belief, thinking, behavior regarding what is I, what is my. Because of I, the my problem starts. Then because of the I and my, the ego problem, then the desires, and several mistakes, several false imaginations follow. So what is the biggest crisis? Identification, identity crisis. And the Sadguru begins to reply by stating the root cause of this identity crisis. This false identification of the what soul to aji prove bhi nath thayu. What you are using soul? Identification of I with the body. This much I know. I know. And I means this body. That also I know. This much is there in my knowledge right now. You can use soul and body, it's perfect. But you don't need to use the word soul right now. The identification of I as the... Come on, if someone tells you, look in the mirror, and whatever you see in the mirror is not you. Are you understanding or not understanding? Look in the mirror, go home. No one else should be in the room. Go in front of the mirror. And whatever you see in the mirror is not you. It's the body. You are the knower of the body and the reflection. You are just... What you see is the known, not the knower. And the knower, your eyes should be with the knower and not the known. Just imagine, you have never seen yourself. કેટલા વર્ષના છો પ્રફુલ્લાબેન? એવો યજમાન દરરોજ કર્યા કરે છે. Still 64 you have not seen yourself. If you have not seen your grandchildren for say 10 days, you become so eager. કે જોયા નથી છોકરાઓને. અમે શું છે પેલી હા ના પેલું કચ્છનું ગામડું છે શું નલિયા હા એનું એક બચ્ચાનું નામ નલિયા છે તો હું ભૂલી જાઉં ને એટલે હું કચ્છ યાદ કરું. કચ્છના નલિયાનું દેરાસર બહુ સારું છે નલિયા. સો નલિયાને જોઈ નથી આ જોઈ. You have not seen yourself since 65 years. And you are not even thinking about it. No sadness regarding it. No pining for it. You don't know who you are. Whole day from morning to night you live for yourself, but you don't know who you are. And still there is no problem. You can live happily. And that is the identity crisis Param Krupadev is talking about. The false identification. Both the body and the soul are diametrically different. Exactly opposite. Thodi bhi similarity nahi. So say the body, it's material, transient, mortal. Soul, not material, consciousness, not transient, eternal, transitory nathi, eternal, not mortal, immortal, diametrically different. It is so easy. You understand? કોઈ ટ્વિન્સ હોય અને you know no, there are two types of twins, એકદમ similar looking and different, એકદમ different. One goes on the father, one goes on the mother. પૂછવું પડે એટલા જુદા લાગે. તો કે દેહ and આત્મા और से यहाँ પુદ્ગલ और આત્મા, they are diametrically different. You should have no problem in identifying it. They are थोड़ी भी similarity નથી to get confused. I know the Guru is now Guru has started speaking, no? So Guru is disturb to na kehvaye. શું કહેવાય? He cannot understand why you're confused. He is so confused regarding your confusion. When two things are so distinct with the different attributes, and why are you finding difficulty in identifying it? Okay, this is not me and this is me. This is the known and I am the knower. And what is so difficult in it? Yeah? Within some days you are going to find it difficult for considering body as I and my both. Whenever you say my body also, you say okay, this is just a formality, व्यवहार છે. Baki I know it's not even I and not even my. We just exist on the same space. I and the body just exist on the same space. There's nothing like I and nothing like my. Very soon. At least છઠ્ઠા પદ સુધીમાં તો clear થઈ જશે. Such discriminative knowledge will arise in you. So beautiful. So the root cause of the disciples' doubt is what? Absence of self-realization, which actually even he is confessing that I don't have that self-realization. Ignorance of the soul. Ignorance of the soul. So there's nothing, he had never thought that I can be something else than the body because he didn't know anything about the soul. The chapter opens today. Whether you believe it or not, but that option only comes up today. Right? Every time it was tindolanu શાક ને બાજરીના રોટલા in the tiffins. The option started in this COVID thing કે આ બી છે અને ગ્રોસરીમાંથી આપણે જે લાવ્યા છે એ બી છે. શું ખાવું છે? So because of the association of a Sadguru, the option starts, and then as we come closer and closer to his experience, our faith becomes firm. So, absence of self-realization and ignorance of the soul because of the false identification. So, since time immemorial, the soul is in close contact with the body. I can say, if I'm not going into detail, but I can say continuously. Birth and rebirth, if you see the whole transmigration, continuously close contact. 3 C's. Quiz. Continuously close contact, body and soul. Continuously close contact. Why am I saying close contact? Because the Atma and the body, the soul and the body, the Atma and the they occupy the same space. Atma is here and body is here. This is that one unit of space. Atma and body are in the same space. That's why I'm saying closest contact is the they. This is quite far. It is in space number 5. I am in space number 1. Space bolo ke row bolo, chalo ne. Same row, same chair. Same chair, but Shibani is too far from Dr. Mansi. But the body of Dr. Mansi is the closest because in the same space as the soul. Thodu weird to lage chhe, I understand. So, since time immemorial, what has happened? The soul is in the close contact of the body. And due to ignorance, what happened? You go into delusion. What is a false identification? I is equal to this body, matter. Because that is what is perceived by the senses and comes in the purview of your buddhi right now. So due to close contact and due to ignorance, what has happened? An illusion, you can say, because of the embodiment of it. soul being within the body. So it appears to be one. See, if it was Siddha Bhagwan, then there won't be any illusion because there is only soul and no body. But right now you are in a state of embodiment. Means the soul is embodied in the body. It is in the body. So this illusion and so the delusion. So the illusion it is one, or the identification delusion. I don't want to make this verse very messy, very difficult, very philosophical. But imagine bhasyo deha dhyasti, because of the close contact, proximity, and the ignorance that time, and the ignorance of the soul, and so many things together, there is a delusion that I goes with the body. Because you don't even know the soul. So you never had that option. You didn't have knowledge of the soul, so that you could just perceive the body, so that I leg in that shoe. I in the shoe of the body. Very clear? So the false identification, soul and body appears to be one, but in reality they are separate with distinct characteristics. That much he wants to convey in this verse. Bhasyo deha dhyasti atma deha saman. Pan means in reality te banne bhinna che. They both are separate with distinct characteristics. Distinct. Different we both are distinct. If you are just having a buddhi of a, say, 8-year-old boy, 8-year, you can discriminate very, very easily. Etlu distinct. You don't need to be a scientist, you don't need to have a PhD degree for this discriminative knowledge. Discriminative bhed knowledge, gnan, bhed gnan. It is so clear, so distinct, thodi buddhi hoy to bhi tamne thai. You don't even need to know Sanskrit, Prakrit, nothing. It is so, because the characteristics are obvious and evident. Pragata lakshane bhan. Pragata છે. Packed bhi nathi ki kholwanu. It is ekdam clear. It's evident. See the power of enlightenment in the Sadguru's words. પ્રગટ એટલે જાણે કે આમ આંખ સામે તો ન બોલાય, બટ આત્માને જોતા જોતા બોલતા હોય ને એવી રીતે. So even though the body and the soul, they are found in the same space, not different space also, same space, they are separate entities. Water does take the shape of the vessel it is put in. Bottle ma hoy, ke vessel ma hoy, liquids. So it takes the shape. Though it takes the shape of the vessel, they are separate entities. They don't become one because they both are of the same shape. So in the same way, even the soul takes the shape of the body, but still they are two distinct entities, separate entities. So soul cannot be known by senses. So that means it is agneya. It cannot be known. Agnostic. It cannot be known because it cannot be known by senses. No, it said it cannot be known by senses. It is not said that Atma cannot be known. If I don't know French, so I don't know French. That does not mean I don't know anything. Gujarati to એવું બોલું તમને કઈ સમજ નહીં પડે. Just because it cannot be grasped by senses, it's not that you cannot, Atma cannot be known, the soul cannot be known. If your senses cannot perceive the soul, you should only confess that I am clear that it is not graspable by senses. Don't say it cannot be known and it does not exist only. Whatever you observed is perfect. The Guru is saying perfect. Even I can't see the Atma with my eyes. After being enlightened also, I can't see with my eyes. I'm experiencing the soul, but I can't see it with the eyes like this. 10:40, 11, 10:40. આવી રીતે તો તમે કેવળ જ્ઞાન પછી બી નહીં જોઈ શકો with senses. But then say it cannot be grasped by senses. Don't say, because there are other means of knowing also, which you are unaware of. So slowly he takes you to the journey. Your observation was right, your conclusion was wrong. You just see two people talking, walking and talking. Say Shana is with Janvi. They're just going and road par jai che and talking. So what you observed was right. They two are alone. They two are walking. They two are talking. Fine. And they were saying, Ajni Gatha kitli superb hati. And I just want to experience the soul. They were talking that, but that you didn't hear. And now, what did you conclude, Krish? They can't. They want to peep, they want to listen, they want to know. They are very inquisitive creatures, right? કોની સાથે વાત કરે છે, કેટલી વાત કરે છે, શું વાત કરે છે, એટલી તો હિંમત ન થાય કોઈ પેરેન્ટની, શું વાત થાય છે, પણ they expect કે you only confess. So your observation was right, but એના પછી it was your dirty mind. આ બેનું નક્કી થવાનું હશે 14th. You don't have any premises for that. Without premises, you are concluding. The same thing the Shishya has done. His observation was right. It cannot be perceived by senses. But the conclusion, therefore it does not exist, is wrong. So the whole mistake in his reasoning is, the Guru is going to draw his attention to his flaws. His attention to his flaws, not his attention to his flaws. Your attention to your flaws only. તારે જ આમ કાન પકડવા પડશે. હું નહીં કહું કાન પકડ. હું નહીં કહું. I'll only prove you are foolish. And પછી તું જ કહે, yeah, I am a fool. Beautiful. થોડું lengthy થશે. Because when the Guru does not have to point at your fault and just make you realize your fault, the journey becomes little lengthy. But that is, he has all the time, he has all the patience, and he has all the love and compassion, both. So the soul cannot be known by the senses, but by contemplating on the distinct characteristics of the soul, it can be determined. It can be determined by focusing and contemplating on the attributes, the nature, the qualities, the characteristics of the soul, though not by senses. You can determine. It is not necessary that because it cannot be grasped by senses, you cannot determine. So that's what he's saying. The body is inanimate, the soul is conscious, soul is formless, many, many attributes, but he's going to focus on only one, consciousness. Difficult word, che? Knowingness. Every time just focus on the knowingness, not what is known. I'll look at you, say, I'm knowing something and I see Dr. Mansi. So I'm always focusing on what is known by my knowledge. With my knowledge, I know Dr. Mansi is there. So every time, and in Gujarati I'll say, Gneya તરફ જ તારી દ્રષ્ટિ છે પણ જ્ઞાયક તરફ નથી. Who is knowing? So focus on the knowingness, 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 knowingness. And that is the soul. But you are focusing on what is known in that knowingness, and your known is all material objects. So you are only believing in the existence of material objects. This is Samaisar, gist of Samaisar. Gneya lubdha. Gneya, what is known, ema lubdha, attached. And not focusing on the gnayak, the knower, the knowingness, gnan, 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 gnan. And the philosophical word for that is consciousness. So that is the attribute you have always overlooked, not focused on. So he's preparing us for the answers. You understand? So, if the characteristics of the soul are clearly understood, if the difference between the body and the soul, the characteristics are grasped properly, and if you can create or cultivate or develop a discriminative dimension within you, Vedagnan, Vedagnan, Vedagnan. Okay, I've grasped whatever has knowingness is the soul, and what cannot know is the body, because we are interested in the body right now. So body. If you grasp this, if you have understood this, number one, if you have grasped this, number two, if this discriminative dimension is always present in you, number three, you are going to realize the soul, number four. My God, moksha marg has become so short. You have to understand the characteristics, grasp and determine it, create a mudra joise. Only Chaitanya mudras won't help you. These mudras also, from the Guru's satsang, you understand the characters and grasp it, and then create a discriminative dimension and experience it separate. That's it. So I think it's very simple. In Vyavhar also, in our worldly pursuits also, if you want to identify something, I say I don't know, every time I do want to take Dr. Mansi now. So, Nemiji, I don't know who is Neil Vora here. So, can you? And I have to meet him in the afternoon. Example So, I have to meet him at 3 o'clock. So, can you help me identify Neil Vora? So, tall, Siddhanto નથી જ Neil Vora, because tall. So my discriminative knowledge is saying that fellow is not Neil. Then
short hair.
Short hair. તો 4-5 જણના short hair છે.
Tall and short hair. So
tall भी છે, Raj भी tall છે, આ भी tall છે.
Little slight.
No, be frank, no, it's okay.
Little.
He's from Ahmedabad. He won't feel bad.
Little fat, healthy.
Okay. Wait. Slowly. It's like, since lives I'm confused. So it will take some time. It won't happen in one day. So this fellow, just get lost, no? Just sit down. નીચે બેસે એટલે આ તો ગયો ચાલો. Then what did you say? Tall. તો આ તો સાલા બધા tall છે. પછી
when he smiles, he gets a dimple.
Dimple, so બેસી જા તું નીચે. You are not getting it. You બેસી જા. 1-2 મિનિટનો જ ક્વેશ્ચન છે. આમ તેમ ગમે તેમ કરીને બેસી જા. Well, he and Rushabh can hardly sit on the ground. Rushabh તો કંઈક ડક મુદ્રામાં હોય. When he has breakfast, me go, what mudra is this? Huh? So I think, what did you say? Dimple. થોબડું આમ કરે. એ છોકરા, તારી વાત કરું છું. હા, તો થોબડું આમ કર. નો ડિમ્પલ, ડાઉન. યુ આનું આમ આખું ડિમ્પલ વાળું જ મોઢું છે. તું બેસ હજી. યુ નહીં સદા. Shiv, from you are again you come in the short category. Okay, so ચાલો આ બેમાંથી મારે શોધવાનું છે. જી હા,
એ બેમાંથી fat.
Oh, fat. Come down. Then you are Neil. See, this is the way. So simple. So ભાસ્યો દેહાધ્યાસ્તિ આત્મા દેહ સમાન પણ તે બંને ભિન્ન છે. Very simple. બેસી જાવ ઉપર ભાઈ સાહેબ, તમને ખાલી ચડી જશે. ડેડ થઈ જશે એ લોકોના લેગ્સ આટલો ટાઈમ નીચે બેસે તો. રાઈટ. Same milk. What are the qualities of milk? कौन कैसे ग्रोसरी में कौन लेवा जाए मिल्क? कनाडा वाला ने तो घरे आपी जाता हसे दूधनी बोतल का. સો મિલ્કનું બોલો. નીલ વોરાની માનું નામ શું? ગીતા. ભગવદ્ ગીતા બોલો. મિલ્કનું કોઈ બી ક્વોલિટી તમે બોલો, તમે કલર, ટેસ્ટ કંઈ બી બોલી શકો. બધા બહેનોને એક એક બોલવાનું છે. અત્યારના એ લોકોની ફાટે છે ખાલી મિલ્કની પ્રોપર્ટીઝ બોલવાનું. એન્ડ દે આર હિયર ટુ seek the soul. They don't know the character, the properties of milk. તો આ 4 જણ છે, એક એક કહેવાની માને ક્વોલિટી. હા,
સફેદ, વ્હાઇટ છે.
વ્હાઇટ કલર. ઓકે, નેક્સ્ટ.
homogenized,
ચાલો, ઓકે, એ ડબ્બાની વાત કરે છે. ચાલો,
Clear plastic bag. And
Huh?
white clear plastic bag. You can see the is a milk.
શું મને સમજાય?
Liquid.
લિક્વિડ.
yes.
ઓકે, વેરી ગુડ. ટેસ્ટ હોય કે નહીં મિલ્કનું? સ્વીટ.
Sweet taste.
હા, સ્વીટ કહેવાય એને. તમને ન લાગે ને સાકર નાખો એ અલગ વાત છે, પણ એનો ટેસ્ટ સ્વીટ કહેવાય મિલ્કનો. ઓકે, બીજું એક કાંઈ બેન? સોનલ બેનને આપો. હર યોર ફેમસ વે ઓફ સ્પીકિંગ અ વર્ડ વિથ વાય. હા
એમાંથી yogurt,
હા, ટ્રાન્સફોર્મેશન ટુ યોગર્ટ, બીકોઝ દેર ઇઝ ડિફરન્સ બિટવીન કર્ડ્સ એન્ડ યોગર્ટ. આઈ હોપ યુ ઓલ નો ક્યારે કર્ડ્સ બોલવાનું ને ક્યારે યોગર્ટ બોલવાનું. અને યોગર્ટની અંદર ડબલ ધ પ્રોટીન્સ વોટ વી ગેટ ઇન કર્ડ્સ. So you know all the formation and all, and if you don't know, this is not the right time to say. So these are the properties you said, right? Alpa Ben, thank you ko. મેં તમને બચાવી દીધા એના માટે. થેન્ક યુ. થેન્ક યુ. બસ બીજી કોઈ પ્રોપર્ટી જ નથી, એટલે યુ હેવ નથિંગ ટુ સે. સો નાવ આઈ નો ઇટ ઇઝ સમથિંગ વ્હાઇટ, ઇટ ઇઝ લિક્વિડ, ઇટ ઇઝ આ બેનનું તો છોડી દો, બિકોઝ ગાયની અંદરનું પેલું દૂધ પાછું એવું હોય ના હોય, એટલે આઈ એમ કન્ફ્યુઝ, સો ફોરગેટ ઇટ. સો ફ્લુઇડ, સ્વીટ, white, which can be transformed to yogurt and all. તો આ બધું જેવી ચીજમાં હું જોઈશ એટલે આઈ આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ ધીસ ઇઝ મિલ્ક. એક પણ ચીજ નહીં હોય, ઇફ સમથિંગ વ્હાઇટ યુ ફાઇન્ડ, બટ ઇફ ઇટ્સ નોટ લિક્વિડ તો કહેશો આ રાઈસ હશે પણ આ મિલ્ક નથી. આ બધી પ્રોપર્ટીઝ ઇફ યુ હેવ ગ્રાસ્પ્ડ, યુ કેન ઇઝીલી આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ. Similarly, first understand the properties of the soul from a Sadguru and then identify. Okay, knowingness is the soul. So wherever I find knowingness, that is the soul. That object is the soul. Oh, hard લાગતું હતું પણ એટલું હાર્ડ નીકળ્યું નહીં. એકદમ સિમ્પલ છે કે તમને જે ચીજ ખબર નથી એના લક્ષણો પ્રગટ તમે સમજો અને પછી એ પ્રગટ લક્ષણ જ્યારે જુઓ ત્યારે એને માનો. સિમ્પલ. આ બાલ ગોપાલ બધાને સુલભ છે આ કોન્શિયસનેસ કે નોઈંગનેસને સમજવાનું. That's what our Acharya Amrutchandra Dev is saying. આ બાલ ગોપાલ બધા માટે it is easy, પ્રગટ only. છુપાયેલો બી નથી આત્મા, પ્રગટ જ છે. But you don't know that these are the characteristics of the soul. Simple. So I think it is very simple. હવે તમને એક મિક્સચર હું આપું મિલ્ક એન્ડ વોટરનું. But you know the characteristics of milk. How much ever it looks like one thing only. But you know it is a mixture. So you resort to the appropriate processes. You see to it that the water goes away and whatever remains is milk. Simple. So bhasyo dehatyasti, atma deha saman ek, it appears. But in reality they bhinna છે, and bhinna એટલે its qualities are very very evident. Obvious nahi samjhai to evident, very clear. You must know it and develop that discriminative dimension in you. I'm especially, I love to hear these claps because I'm just speaking it loudly. It is what Param Krupa Dev has filled in this verse. So not even 0.1% of your appreciation goes to me. I am very clear about it. But you feeling that mahima of the Gatha, the literary genius and the purity of the soul, both you are experiencing at the same time. Let's sing.
भास्यो देहाध्यास थी आत्मा देह समान पण ते बन्ने भिन्न छे प्रगट लक्षणे भान